Alrighty, people. What is happening? How we doing? How we living? How we feeling? We've got a fantastic day for you today. Let me start stream mode here. Okay, we're good to go. Yeah, got a great stream for you today. Week 12. It's getting to the nitty gritty. A lot of people are probably not interested in fantasy any longer because they think they are eliminated from the fantasy playoffs. You know, unfortunately, that is a part of fantasy football. You know, if you're in a league of 10 people, you have a 10% chance of winning at the beginning of the season. If you're in a league of 12 people, you have a less than 10% chance, right? And that is the unfortunate reality. We all play fantasy football, and then we're like, nah, I'm going to win it for sure. Every year, I'm going to win it. And then, you know, not every year is our year, right? So appreciate y'all for being here with us, but we are going to do our absolute best to help you get that win here in week 12 to keep the hopes of the playoffs alive. And even if you're out there and you have 7 losses at this point, it genuinely isn't over. If you're 4-7, it is not over. You still have a legitimate chance to get into the playoffs. So we appreciate y'all for being here with us. Lots to talk about. We are going to answer questions on the website first. So if you don't know, through the Flock Fantasy website is the best place to prioritize your question. I'll put a link in the chat for you guys now. It's also in the pinned comment. But if you ever want to prioritize your question and get it answered straight away when the stream begins, the website is the best place. As we always say, if we have questions on the site, that is the first place we will go to start the stream. After that, if there are any super chats or any questions on the YouTube chat, we will get to those as well. But we always want to prioritize people who prioritize us and our growth. So we appreciate you guys. Again, if you don't know this, it's important to note that when you submit a question to the website, when we answer it, it will send you a direct link to the answer with the time code. So you'll not have to wait around, and just say, like, when are these guys going to answer my question? It'll be a direct link sent to you. And if you don't have a free account on the Flock Fantasy website just yet, I would suggest going to get one for free by using the promo code LAND. Again, when you create an account, use our promo code LAND, L-A-N-D. You'll get a free account, and you'll get to access things like the expert consent, the team analyzer for free, where you can sync one of these teams up, the expert consensus rankings, the trade calculator, etc. All right, the whole shebang. Yeah. And it makes it so easy to ask questions once you've linked up your team. So we are probably going to start with the website questions here. I don't think there's really any news that's worth talking about, unless I miss anything.
No, I don't think there's anything.
Okay.
Anything big.
Okay.
At least no injuries or nothing that is pretty significant.
Yeah. What's up, Brizzleton in the chat? It's good to see you. What's up, everybody in the chat? Welcome in. Welcome in. How about them Chargers? All right, let's get to these questions on the website. Do us a favor, hit that like button. Got a like goal today of 50 likes. With your help, I know we can get there. Didn't drop a waiver wire video this week. We dropped the panic video, and at the end of the panic video, I told you guys the reason we didn't drop a waiver wire is because there's literally no need for one this week. Like, yeah, quite frankly, if people are dropping waiver wire videos, respect to them, but there's literally no one on the waiver wires worth talking about in most leagues. Like, if you're in an 8 or a 10 team league, and the waiver wire is a little more vibrant, maybe there are names we're talking about, but everyone in like the standard 12, 14, there was no major injuries, no huge breakouts from young guys who aren't available on the waiver wire. So it felt like a pointless video to make this week, and I always want to make videos with intention for you guys. So yeah, next week, if there's actually good waiver wires, we'll put a video out again. But maybe. All right, first question on the website is Sam I Am Badaki.
Yeah, Sam I Am, he said, appreciate the donation. He says, who should I go for? Keep all Insel Kittle love. Isaiah Pacheco. So you're sending Ladd McConkey, George Kittle for Isaiah Pacheco and Jake Ferguson. I definitely want to keep George. Overpay. Yeah, definitely want to keep George Kittle and Ladd McConkey. I mean, obviously Jake Ferguson goes out with concussion last. In that Monday night game, he's playing with Cooper Rush. Not somebody that I want to be relying on. I know Isaiah Pacheco's coming back. Look, maybe if you do need a running back, I see you have Tyrone Tracy, Brian Robinson, and Tajay Spears. So maybe Tyrone can definitely help you, but Isaiah Pacheco can probably help you, but maybe you need to go out and trade for a different running back on a different team. Obviously we can't see the teams, but can you go out and get a Chuba Hubbard? Can you go out and get a A DeAndre Swift. I know he has a tough schedule, but you get what I'm saying when
Swift, but I definitely hear what you're saying. Yeah.
you get what I'm saying. Can you go out and just figure out another type of trade option in your league here, instead of going out and trying to get Isaiah Pacheco personally?
Just so you guys know, let's say this from the very beginning, and this is going to help everybody who is currently watching. If you're a team out there, okay, and you guys are locked and loaded into the playoffs, all right, you got 8 wins at this point of the season. You need to go find the players in your league who have Bijan Robinson, James Cook, Chase Brown, Alvin Kamara, and Breece Hall. And you need to find out if they're going to make the playoffs or not. Because if they are not going to make the playoffs, it is time to try and trade for one of those players. If they are a 4-7 team, a 5-6 team, and they need a win this week, you could really be advantageous for your playoff chances by going to trade for a Breece Hall. I'm trying to do this in the Flock League. By going to trade for an Alvin Kamara, a Chase Brown, a James Cook, a Bijan Robinson. These people who need wins, they need players available to them this week, and they won't have them available because of bye weeks. Go trade for those names if you're in an advantageous position in your league. But I view this as a double loss. I love Pacheco, but I have no idea what to expect from him
100%.
Coming back from a serious injury that, you know, only with time you really become the same player. I mean, Tony Pollard took him an entire year and he played a bunch of games before he became the same player again, right? So I do not think this is a good trade. You definitely lose massively with George Kittle to Ferguson. And I'm not sure that Pacheco is more valuable than Ladd rest of the season. He could be, but we have no idea what his condition will be in, what his workload will be. And in a 14-team league, you got to get way more value for George Kittle. Like, and you have an elite tight end in a 14-team league. You've got to get way more value. So is there a counter out here that we like? I don't need Jake Ferguson back, by the way, if you're going to do a deal like this. So let's make it James Conner instead of Isaiah Pacheco. And then I also want in return, what do you reckon? Like a Neighbors, and we'll add Debo.
I mean, we can, but I don't know if anyone's going to accept that trade.
I feel like the side of the Kittle is getting a ton of value there, but...
Oh, you still keeping Kittle in that trade? Okay, sure, because he has K. Dalton. Sure. So, that's fair then. That's fair.
Is there any other counter that you like here with this team?
No, I definitely like James Conner. I know James Conner has one of those good season-ending schedules. I've obviously in one of your videos there. Yeah. So I think that's somebody you can definitely target. I also don't mind Rachaad White, which you also mentioned in your season-ending schedule, or playoff schedule, excuse me. So yeah, I'm okay with those guys.
Just to add to that, to form a trade around that thought, then it'd be Rachaad White and Tyreek Hill there.
Sure. Yeah,
and then you can even throw them back like a Mooney. I know we want to keep Mooney, but in a start 7, if that gets the deal done, then I'm willing to do that. So those are some other options. I'm not a fan of the original offer at all. By the way, what is up, Adam Cook? One of our editors on the Dynasty channel. We appreciate you, man. He says, I'm going to the Chiefs-Panthers game this weekend. How crazy would it be if I start Jonathan Brooks over Najee or Ramondre for fun? I think you would definitely regret it, but yeah, it'd be fun. It'd be fun to see him, but I think you would regret it for sure.
Yeah, that's gonna be. It
might
you
be
should go pick up the. You should go pick up the Chiefs defense and start them for fun. But I doubt they if you have defense and kickers. Yeah. Anyways, appreciate you, brother. Hope you all is well.
All right, on to Jacob's question over here on the website, guys. If you want to prioritize your question, check out the pinned comment in the chat. But on to the next one from Jacob here.
Yeah, he says, I got Gibbs, Walker, and Josh Jacobs as running backs. Good trade. So he's in a way, JK, Shakir for Terry. Yeah, I think this is great. Obviously, Terry has been phenomenal so far this year. And this is the Terry that we've been waiting for, a guy that needed a quarterback. He's a top 10 wide receiver right now in fantasy. So I'll take the Terry side personally.
They still have Tony Pollard. Pollard plays... who does he play? He plays the Jags, I think, in championship week. So you still have a
Texans tonight, but yes.
Huh?
They play the Texans this week.
What in championship week? I'm saying though, week 17. I think he has the Jags. So he's
Sure, I'll tell you
he's
right
still
now.
a
Give me a
decent
sec.
RB3. Yeah, I'm fine with this. I'm fine with this deal. I think it's a good time to go buy low on Terry McLaurin. He still has a pretty good rest of season schedule.
Yeah, I like that trade for you. So smash except for the both of us.
Mm-hmm.
He have 26. Appreciate you, man. A $25 donation. We really appreciate that. He says deadline week 8. Deadline week 8-3 record. Other teams needs my wide receivers are CD, Higgins, Downs, Dell. Timmons running backs are Henry, Connor, Irving, Pacheco. Should I try and offer this? Jaden Reed for Chase Brown. So your running backs are Henry, Connor, Irving, Pacheco. I personally still want to keep Jaden Reed. You have Derrick Henry, Pacheco, Bucky Irving, James Conner. I think that's more than enough. I know Derrick Henry will be crucial in that week 14. I know that for a fact because Zach has Derrick Henry and Joe Mixon, who I'm going to be playing. So that should be an easy win. I would personally be keeping Jaden Reed here over Chase Brown. I don't see why you should have that. I mean, this is a start 7. So, and Jaden Reed, not saying he's a heavy hitter, but you feel more comfortable starting him right now, or at least with that offense with Jordan Love.
I'm actually the opposite here of
Okay.
you. I think it's time to call a spade a spade. The Packers wide receiver room is sporadic. It is different every week. I actually did some research on this week for a video. But if you look at the leading target getter for the Packers since week 5, are you guys ready for this? Week 5, Dontavion Wicks. Week 6, Dontavion Wicks. Week 7, Jaden Reed. Week 8, Romeo Doubs. Week 9, Romeo Doubs. Week 10, Christian Watson. Week 11, Christian Watson. Jaden Reed, since week 5, has led this team in targets one time. And it's just, there's too much sporadicness to this wide receiver room. Meanwhile, you have Chase Brown. Guys, Chase Brown, like, why shouldn't he be valued as a top 12 running back rest of season? Like, why wouldn't we do that based off the usage? The usage is insane. 27 carries, 5 targets since he became the starter. Then 13 carries, 11 targets. Then 22 carries, 7 targets. I mean, I think I would much rather, if it's my flex spot, be rocking with Chase Brown. And you already have good names like T. Higgins and CeeDee Lamb, and if one of those guys are injured, you still have Tillman or Dell or Downs that you can put in there. So if I'm looking at my flex position, I would rather have Chase Brown there. And looking at your starting lineup, if you made this deal, would be Hurts. Then you'd have Henry, Chase Brown. At wide receiver, you go Higgins, Lamb. At tight end, Kelsey. And I would flex Chase Brown over any of the rest of the names that you had. So, yeah, that's how I would do it personally. I don't even mind throwing in like an Audric Estime, to make this deal happen. I don't mind throwing in, a Ricky Pearsall to make this deal happen, like one of these names. I don't even mind down tiering and adding Bucky and then receiving back like a Jerry Jeudy or something simple, to make him feel like it's more worth it for him. So I'm a big fan of Chase Brown rest of season. And I just think he will be the much more reliable name.
Okay.
And a better
I love
flex.
Chase Brown. Love Chase Brown. However way you want to go, I'm happy. I can understand it. But I think you have enough depth to, if you can't get this trade done, I think you'll be fine. But if you do want to get the trade done, sure. Go ahead, go for Chase Brown downtown. I would be keeping Jaden Reed. And I love Chase Brown. I mean, I was a big advocate of him taking over this backfield in the second half of the season. Obviously not in this fashion, but I still believe in him as well.
I would go ahead and love to give Peepov a free start sit question, by the way, a voucher as a thank you for the extra donation he sent through the website. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for the love.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
But yeah, hopefully that's
Johnny,
helpful. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Johnny Tsunami, this is a 12-team start 7, and you're trying to send away DeAndre Swift and Dalton Kincaid for Tyrone Tracy and Taysom Hill. Yeah, I mean, look, I would rather have. I think Tyrone and Swift cancel out.
Now, I don't agree fully there, and I'll tell you why. Again, it's funny, back-to-back players who I've just done research on a video for this week. I feel like this is a prime time to sell DeAndre Swift. If you look since week 5, let me tell you his matchups, okay? Carolina, the best matchup for your running back. Week 6, Jacksonville, the second best matchup for your running back. The Commanders, middle of the pack. Week 9, the Cardinals, top 10 matchup. Week 10, the Patriots, a top 8 matchup. So DeAndre Swift, and they're starting to use Rashawn Johnson versus more difficult rushing defenses. I would prefer Tyrone over Swift rest of season personally. So yeah, I'm actually on board with this idea. And at this point with Dalton Kincaid, if it was going to happen, I feel like it would have happened. Maybe there'll be a boom game, but it will be boom and bust just like Taysom Hill. So I'll take the Tyrone side of this. But sorry, go ahead. I just wanted to quickly say, like, I do think it is a slight upgrade with Tyrone rest of season.
Sure. Like if you look at the rest of season schedule, sure, Swift is in rest of season schedule is difficult. But I still think he's going to be utilized where I'll feel comfortable enough that he will get me 12, 14 points. I mean, that's really kind of what maybe he's averaging right now. Let me just triple check. I don't think he's averaging more than like 15 points right now. He's averaging 14.8 fantasy points. So I think that's kind of my expectation, even in those bad games. Well, I'm not saying that's going to happen with Tyrone. I love Tyrone. He's on the Giants. I'm a Giants fan. My biggest concern here is like, okay, sure, Dalton Kincaid hasn't been playing well. Taysom Hill has been the classic Taysom Hill where he'll give you the 20 plus points and then he'll be the 50 point or the 2-point guy. But I guess that's more than what you can ask for with Dalton Kincaid.
I was going to say, Dalton Kincaid hasn't won you a week at all this year.
No, at all, 1,000%. And
yeah,
this is just tough. I just don't love this trading for Taysom Hill after a 40-point game. It's just a classic every single year where Taysom Hill drops a big game and then he'll go 3 weeks potentially getting you like 5 points. And you're saying, well, shit, like, why did I do this trade? I'm not saying you shouldn't do this. I'm just saying that's what happens. It feels like every time. I don't have any data to put that behind. That's just my feeling. So, I see this as an even trade when it comes down to Swift and Tyrone, but Dalton and Tyrone is like, fuck. I mean, close your eyes and just pick one.
I can respect the opinion. I think it would make. I think I would agree with you if you were sending away a valuable tight end. You're not.
Yeah, 100%.
You're sending away a guy that you can't start anyway. So I don't see any downside in the trade. And again, just to enhance my take here with DeAndre Swift, my side of the story. Like I showed you guys how easy his schedule was since week 5. I want to show you how tough his schedule is moving forward. Minnesota twice, including in the playoffs. Detroit twice, including in the playoffs. Those are two of the worst matchups for your running back, point blank period. And you've got San Francisco in between there. Yeah, to me, I just think this is an upgrade with Tyrone, and I don't think you're downgrading at tight end. If anything, it's just an even swap. So that's my take on it. You're keeping DeAndre Swift. You think he's more reliable is the take, right?
I think he's not going to. Yeah, I think he'll just be more reliable. Yeah, essentially.
Okay. Hagen here with a trade question. They said, "Hi guys, would you do Evans for Wilson?" Their team also said maybe Evans plus a flex for Allen plus a flex. So would you send away Garrett Wilson for Mike Evans? I would. And there's a couple reasons why. Number one, I have him in the flock league, so I am clearly a little bit biased because I'm happy to get him back. Number two, I believe in a certain narrative, Mr. 1K. What do we call Mike Evans? Mr. 1K. Well, Mike Evans, who will be back this week, needs to average 95 receiving yards per game through the rest of the season to get to 1,000 yards. I think they know that. I think he and Baker Mayfield have already talked about it privately. And if you look at Mike Evans' rest of season schedule, it's genuinely hilarious because it couldn't have been a better schedule. The Giants, the Panthers, the Raiders, the Chargers, which is the tough one, then Dallas, Carolina in the playoffs. I mean, I just think he's going to be a smash. So this is Mike Evans for me. I said this last week. I feel like Garrett Wilson's too inconsistent. And I think he will have boom games, but I think he'll have down games too. So it'll be Mikey Mike for me.
Yeah, I'm happy either way. It's either Mike Evans or Garrett Wilson. I think they both are going to be good. You choose your poison, but Mike Evans is the only one in that offense, so I would lean Mike Evans over Garrett Wilson. in a vacuum.
And the other part of his
You.
question was, says their team also said maybe Evans plus a flex for Allen plus a flex. Who is at, like, Josh Allen? No, like, what does he mean by that? Like,
Surely it's not Josh
Evans.
Allen. I don't know.
Allen. Who could it be other than Josh Allen?
It must be Josh Allen, but I don't know why I would do Josh Allen. Why they would send away Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Basically, I would say this: if you're saying you can send Evans plus a flex for Allen plus another person, no. Like, basically, you're not getting Garrett Wilson; you're getting Josh Allen. Essentially, so you send Mike Evans plus somebody to get Josh Allen plus a flex, which in my mind is not Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, I don't think you have the superstars to make that deal. To me, right now, your starting lineup is CJ or Russ. After that, Saquon, CMC, great. After that, Neighbors, Cup, and then Njoku. But at your flex, if you lose Evans, I don't like your flex that much. You'll rely on Ladd, which will need a good matchup. Shakir, which is a fine floor, but not as much upside. I personally would keep Mike Evans here myself.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Dire Debug. By the way, guys, if you want to prioritize your questions, absolutely no obligation to do so, but you can do so through our website. Check out the pinned comment. I also put a link in the chat for you now. But let's go to this next one here.
He says, have bye weeks and need help also getting Fairbrand. Okay. So you were sending away Jahmyr Gibbs, Cortland Sutton, and receiving Baker Mayfield, Alexander Madison, and Jackson Smith in Jigba. And it doesn't look like you have your team link, so we can't really break it down. So we'll just really talk about it. It's
the hardest pass in the world. It's not even close. This is like the most disrespectful offer I've seen in multiple weeks.
Yeah, especially in a one quarterback league, like Baker Mayfield doesn't really mean anything to us.
I disagree with that. I think Baker is a really good starting quarterback rest of season, especially with the schedule.
I think it just depends on who you have. But like,
my issue is more the fact that there's nobody on the side that you're receiving that's anywhere near close to the value of a Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, you can see the overall ranks for me here. I would rank Gibbs 13th overall player rest of season at minimum. We've got the 128th overall player, 109th, 54th overall player. The reality is nobody in the side that you're receiving is even like worth Jahmyr Gibbs' right leg. Okay. And then with Sutton and JSN, I love JSN, but I still think we prefer Sutton rest of season being the clear number one attached to Bo Nix. So this is an extremely disrespectful offer. Feel free to send this to the person who sent you the offer if they want to talk trash and be like, oh, bro, but, this is fair. Bullshit. All right, you're clearly trying to take advantage of this person. This is disgusting. It's genuinely disgusting.
He's disgusted.
I am. I'm honestly frustrated. Like, this is a bullshit offer. And this is clearly someone who is a newer fantasy player, Dire Debug. I imagine you haven't been playing for like 5+ years, right? I imagine you're a little bit newer to it, and you're reaching out for advice, and I'm glad you did, because someone is clearly trying to take advantage of you. Like, if you hit accept, they would be like, yeah, just freaking fleece this guy. This is the levels of disgusting this is insane. I won't go on any further, but this is so disgusting.
We got him. Thank you so much for that super chat. I hope you didn't accept that trade. The next one in line is Crush. Thank you so much, Crush. We just reviewed your team on the Dynasty channel. We appreciate you.
Yeah, Crush, did you see that? We'll send that playbook to him soon, hey.
Yeah. I was actually working on it right before we went live, so you should be getting that within the next couple of hours.
Awesome.
Looking at your team here is a 2-quarterback, 12-team start 11. Gardner Minshew, Brock Purdy here. You have Joe Burrow, Joe Flacco there as well. But if I'm not mistaken, Joe Burrow is on a bye. So I guess you got Gardner Minshew, Brock Purdy, Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, Malik Neighbors, Nico Collins, Cortland Sutton, George Kittle, and you're considering a lot of people here at the flex. Jacoby Myers, DJ Moore, Jerry Jeudy, and Jogo Michael Pittman. The first one I can definitely see here that I would want to start would be Jacoby Myers.
Okay.
I would be considering here DJ Moore,
Yep,
unfortunately.
that's where I want to go. I think
Um,
I think this is a blow up week for him personally
yeah,
versus the
this is a
Vikings.
great week, but still disappointing. And then Jerry Judy or David Njoku are the two guys I am considering here.
Yeah,
David or Jerry Judy, if I'm not mistaken, 11 targets last week, caught a touchdown, and obviously he had over 140 yards.
that's
Obviously,
good.
one of those touchdowns was a 70-yard touchdown or 60-yard touchdown. But yeah, he does look good. In the last 2-3 games, he's been getting averaging 8 to 9 targets per game. So I feel like Jerry Judy is the way you want to go here. It's tough because it's going against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I don't love the matchup really, but the good news is they'll probably have their number one on Tillman.
Exactly. And Jerry Judy.
I think you really can't go wrong. I think they'll both give you a safe floor. I guess we'll go Jerry on a heater, but Njoku's been just as good.
Yeah, I agree. I will go Njoku on the heater there as well. Or Jerry Judy on the heater, excuse me. So Jacoby Myers, DJ Moore, and Jerry Judy are who we are starting this week in your flex option.
Really, really like DJ Moore this week. Has really only had one blow up game. I think we could see another against the Vikings. I think they'll need him a lot more this week.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Crush. We do have a team review from Billy. He says you guys are crushing it with the playbook. And, if you guys don't know what the playbook is, we just announced it on the Dynasty channel yesterday. But in case you want your team reviewed, we do redraft and Dynasty versions of this. This is something that we just offered, brand new, been working on it for a long time. Badaki has been behind the scenes putting blood, sweat, tears, hours into this project. But essentially, we wanted to elevate a team review. All right, give you some physical evidence of what we think about your team. So from now until Black Friday, if you buy a team review on the website, you will get your playbook and you will get it done live. All right. After Black Friday, there will be a different price for the live version. And it will come standard as like an offline version that we send to you. But yeah, from now until Black Friday, if you purchase a team review, you will get your playbook. Maybe you're heading into the playoffs here soon, and you want to know what sort of trades you might need to make, your percentage chance of making the playoffs. You want to hear, some solid trade ideas, or players that you might drop or hold, or the guys that are just untouchable in your format. Then go ahead and get your playbook again by going to the Flock Fantasy website. It's that link that I just put in the chat. All right, and you'll see the team review section here. Obviously, link your team before you get it reviewed. But let's say I wanted to get the Flock League reviewed. I'd go next. Once I hit this page, I would choose my team, which is Do It for Chris. I'd hit next, and then I'd find Zach and Badaki here. Any team review, no matter what price you pay for the team review, will be done live until Black Friday as a little thank you from us and a fun little way to announce the Dynasty Playbook. Yeah, we probably should have said that earlier, but that is something that's now available to you guys. And and when we finish your playbook, it will be sent to you on the Flock Fantasy site in the message section. But we'll get to Billy's team here in a second. I want to get through the start sits first. Manny is the next start sit.
Yeah, Manny, appreciate you. This is a 14 league start 7. Just setting your lineup here. So Jordan Love, Devon Achane, Saquon Barkley, AJ Brown, Mike Evans, and Travis Kelce. I mean, this is a good team in a 14-man league, by the way.
Yeah, really good.
And you're considering Reed, Kate Alton, Debo Samuel, Quentin Johnston. For me, this would still be Jaden Reed, but I would say this is really close also, oddly enough, with another tight end in Kate Alton going against the Giants here, which is crazy to say.
I think you can make a case for 3 names with Debo, Jaden, and Alton. I know Debo hasn't been good, but to me, out of all these names, I still think he has the highest upside. Of all the names we just said, I still think Debo has the highest upside on a week-to-week basis. And versus Green Bay, there's just this extra incentive versus Green Bay, I feel, based off of what's happened in the playoffs and these teams. I think I would play Debo for the upside, but I think Alton is actually the safest floor. So, again, Debo for the upside for me. Alton is the safest floor. Whatever direction you want to go based off the matchup you're facing.
Appreciate you, Manny. Thank you so much. Hello, Tess says Burrow or Baker plus Evans. Tank
By
Dell
the
or
way,
Devonta
sorry,
Smith.
Billy commented, said back of the line for me. Sorry,
Back
Billy.
of the-
We just want to give you a good review. We want to get some of these other questions done because they're a little bit easier to get through. But let's make him a moderator as well. When I tell you guys, Billy is it managing or standard? Which one is it, Badaki?
Standard. You know, I already did it.
Okay, you did it. When I tell you Billy is the OG, okay, there's not a more OG than Billy Spriggs. All right.
Billy was the king of Billy, we call him.
Billy was the
Apparently
first person ever to support us financially on Patreon back in the day. He was the first person to sign up for a league to play in a league with us and to support us. And he has been supporting since the very beginning. He signed up to support us before my father did. Okay? That's how OG Billy Spriggs is. And back in the day, we had this weird system on Patreon, and he was paying to be in like 7 leagues. But anyway, we appreciate you, Billy. He's a definition of a kingdom builder. Hello, Tez. Sorry, go ahead with the start sit.
Yeah, hello, Tez. We appreciate you. I'm a bit confused. Burrow or Baker plus Evans?
I think that's a trade question they threw in there.
Tank Dell, Devonta Smith for flex. Okay, so the question is either Burrow or Baker for Evans. Like, are you just doing an even swap for Mike Evans? I'm confused there because you have Mike Evans on your team already. Anyways, if you are here, hello, Tess. Maybe clarify. This is 1 quarterback, 12 teams, start 7 half PPR.
Maybe they're saying like, would you start Joe Burrow or do you want the stack of Baker and Mike? I think maybe that's the question. But
sure,
Burrow's on
Joe
bye.
Burrow's on a bye, so you would start Baker this week. Obviously, you start Devon and Brian Robinson. And you're going to start George Pickens, Mike Evans. You're going to start David Njoku. And I personally would go Devonta Smith or Tank Dell.
Devonta.
I'm just checking my rankings. And yes, it is Devonta.
Yeah, Devonta for me too. Yeah, I just feel it's not been great for either of those names.
No, it hasn't. That's why I had to check my rankings there.
Yeah, but Devonta's at least in like a high over under. I'm pretty sure that's Monday or Sunday night football. I can't remember.
They play Monday night.
Okay, which should be fun.
Sorry, they play Sunday night at the Rams. So
yeah,
that should be a fun game. And then Chargers and Ravens on Monday night, which is also should be a good game.
Tez is in the chat, by the way, and yeah, just to clarify, yeah, Burrow not available this week. He'll be on bye, so go with Baker and Evans. I have got the same stack in the Flock League in case that brings you any comfort. The Baker Evans stock this week. Guys, look at this lineup. Look at this fully healthy lineup now that I've got this week. All right. Baker, well, I guess Burrow's on bye, but Baker, Mixon, Taylor, Terry, Evans, McBride, Neighbors, Henry. We're getting healthy at the right time.
The only downfall there is Justin Tucker.
Literally, you're not kidding. I'm not joking. I sent a trade for a kicker today in the Flock League. I'm not kidding you. That is real. That really happened.
I just realized Sal changed Bosnick's names to Kendrick Lamar. That's hilarious.
Yeah, because he changed his name to Not Like Us. The entire Flock League was laughing at me when I put Bo Nix on the trade block. Who's laughing now? Okay, so yeah, hopefully that's helpful, Tez.
Yeah, Molerat's next says I have Brown, HN, Tracy, and Jones need a wide receiver. Okay, so you're sending Pacheco and McBride from elite neighbors. The real question is, who's your tight end? And if I'm looking at the team, you have Will Disley.
Oh, I don't know. It's been fun. The Disley train's been fun. I just don't know if I want to ride it into the playoffs.
Well, let's just see what that playoff. I mean, let's have a geese. Let's have fun with it. If you were to make this trade, Will Disley plays Tampa Bay, Denver, and New England. Yeah, he has been fun, but I mean, he's only scored 2 games over double digits, to be completely honest with you. McBride is a huge upgrade at that tight end position. I mean, he's gotten 2 games where he's scored less than double-digit points. That was in week 3 and in week 1. The rest of the games since week 5, I'm pretty sure he's been a top I mean, he's a top 4 tight end right now, but if you were to average that from weeks 5 to 10, he's probably tight end 2, maybe within that span, behind Brock Bowers, or maybe 3 behind Travis Kelce. I think this is a tough trade. I'm not sure if I would actually be doing this because let's look at your wide receivers.
So
I mean, your wide receivers
at,
right now. This is a start 9. Cedric Tillman, Devontae Adams. And then who else do you have? Xavier Legette, Ricky Pearsall. So like your wide receivers are struggling, sure.
Your starting lineup right now, if you keep Pacheco, is Kyler or Herbert. All right. At running back, you're starting Achane and Chase Brown. Okay, that's fine. At wide receiver, you are starting Tillman Adams, which isn't terrible. Then you're starting Will Disley, and then you can flex 3 names, right? And the 3 names that you can flex currently would be Aaron Jones, Tyrone Tracy, and Isaiah Pacheco. I feel better about that starting lineup than adding Malik Neighbors, which would be huge for you. It really would. But I feel better about that starting lineup than adding Malik Neighbors and starting Disley at tight end, and then having no flex worthwhile. I mean, we're going to flex Legette at that point. We'll flex,
Yeah, look, and he said he lost Rice and Godwin. He's in the chat here with us.
Okay.
Maybe you look for 2-for-1s. I think you have enough running back room to then, let's just say you have Chase Brown and Achane as your starting running backs for the rest of the season, right? Why don't you see if you can sell Aaron Jones, maybe sell Aaron Jones and Pacheco and get like a 2 running backs for 2 wide receivers type of deal.
Well, why don't we remove Trey McBride from this deal and counter by adding Aaron Jones, and then we'll get back like a Josh Downs and Neighbors. Try that. That's an option.
You can do Josh Downs.
Try and keep Trey McBride again, and then hey, keep Pacheco and send Aaron Jones instead, and send Aaron Jones and Legette or something for Neighbors, or there's got to be a different variation here.
I'm happy with that. See what you can do and get some of those guys. Another guy I would try and maybe trade for on the low right now, maybe Myers and DJ Moore. Those guys have been interesting. I mean, if you want to take the chance with like a Jerry Jeudy, but I know you have Cedric Tillman already. Just some other names that you could probably throw out. Maybe Calvin Ridley, which is probably
send him Disley and Tyrone instead. Like, I think you got to try something else here.
Yeah, I would agree. Don't send Trey McBride. I think that's too key for your team going in. But we appreciate you, Morad. Yeah. Thank you so much. Happy Emo is next. One quarterback,
Boswell
10 team
MVP.
stars. Honestly,
could be true.
The quarterback here is Kyler Murray is on a bye, if I'm not mistaken. No, he's not.
No, he's
not. That
was
last week. I'm tripping. I'm starting Kyler Murray.
Same.
Running back, you start Kenneth Walker and Tyrone Tracy. At the wide receivers, I am starting Malik Neighbors and Marvin Harrison. At the tight end, you don't have
Tracy
a tight end
over Jonathan Taylor. I know we just went over that real quick.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did not even see Jonathan. I thought that was Jonathan.
That's okay
Brooks.
if you feel that way. I just wanted to talk it through.
I thought that was Jonathan Brooks.
Okay.
To be completely honest with you, let's just throw Tracy in the flex.
Okay.
And at the tight end, you don't have a tight end, so yeah.
So you're starting Neighbors and Marvin, you said?
Yeah, I'm starting Neighbors and Marvin. DeAndre Hopkins does have a favorable matchup this week against the Panthers. I just feel like this is going to be more of like a run game. Let's get Pacheco a little bit more involved, and then a big defensive game as well, personally. Yeah. So they're not going to be on the field as much as, at least my expectation.
Sure. No, I can see that. Again, we don't know who your tight end is, unfortunately. When you go through the start sit, make sure you hit considering and let us know who you have at each position. But overall, that's a pretty damn good lineup. I'm not going to lie. That's a solid-ass lineup you got right there. Appreciate y'all for being here with us. Hey, do us a favor. Hit that like button to show some love. Got a like goal today of 50 likes. We are close. We're about 14 away. And if you don't know how today's stream is going to go, as always, like we always say, any questions that go through the website will be answered first. So if you check out the pinned comment in the chat, you see a link. I'll put it in here again for you, where you can ask a question through our website. And then once we're finished on the website, we'll go to any super chats, or if we have time for any of the regular messages as well. We appreciate y'all for being here and hanging along with us. And Peso's the next one. It's a start sit. Says should play
Pesos. L Jets was next for me, but you already started Pesos. We come back to L Jets.
Oh, I don't even see L Jets. Weird. Okay, let's do Pesos. Should package 2 wide receivers for Stevenson week 14 bye or Warren? Man, that's a little confusing. I guess they're saying should they package 2 wide receivers for Stevenson? Let's help them start the lineup. I'll go with Tua over A-Rich this week.
Yeah, no question. Ramondre Stevenson and Swift. I'm starting Justin Jefferson. I am starting DK. Sorry, yep. I'm just double checking my rankings as I do this. I feel like this week's rankings are so much closer than I expect.
They are really strange because of the amount of buys. We're in buy-apocalypse right now.
100%. So I'm like, wait, I'm so confused. Tight ends, I'm going to be starting. I don't want to. Well, you start Hunter Henry because aren't Jags on the bye this week as well?
Jags are on bye. Jets are on bye, so we can't use Devontae Adams here either. To me, this is Juwan Jennings. Top 20 play easily for me this week, averaging 11 targets per game since the bye week. Yeah, and then I guess their question was, should I package 2 wide receivers for Stevenson week 14 bye or Warren? I really don't fully understand the question because they already have Stevenson. So they're saying, should I package 2 wide receivers for Stevenson? But they already have Stevenson on their team.
I'm a little bit confused there, Peso. So if you're here with us, maybe clarify. If not, hopefully.
But
or when you see this time code, hopefully
Warren.
We can answer it.
I don't know what or Warren means.
So package 2 wide receivers.
Stevenson has the bye week in week 14. Jaylen Warren does play Cleveland, which isn't a bad matchup. Look, I'll say this: I have no problem. Honestly, what the smarter thing to do, honestly, is probably to package Lab McConkey and Ramondre, and go get a player that's already had their bye week, like a Kyron Williams or something, and upgrade at the position, do a 2-for-1 upgrade at the position, and then and ride that out for the rest of the year. That would be my ultimate advice. But I wouldn't trade just to cover off a bye week unless you are literally you have to win in order to get into the playoffs.
Yeah. Okay. And then that flex, I don't know if we spoke about it. Wouldn't it be Lab McConkey because it's DK, Juwan Jennings, and Lab McConkey? Oh no, Justin Jefferson. Yeah. I'm tripping. Say less.
That's all right. I need to refresh because I don't see the question from
L Jets.
Okay, it's just come up. Go ahead.
Okay, awesome. It says 8-3 with good wide receiver depth. Would you take this offer? So you send away Chuba and Tyreek and get Bijan Robinson.
Ooh.
Let's just look at your current team. So this is a 1 quarterback start 7. So Kyler Murray, Josh Jacobs, and you have Javonte Williams. You get Bijan, so Drake May. You get Bijan Robinson. You start Josh Jacobs at the wide receiver 1 position. You have Jamar Chase, Marlon Harrison, George Kittle, and then at the flex you have a Jackson Smith and Jigbar Tank Dell.
Is that better than flexing Tyreek Hill and starting Chuba though?
Yeah,
I'm not 100% sure it is.
How's Chuba's rest of the season schedule? I'm interested.
Good question.
You know what? I'm truly interested to see what Chuba's going to do versus. I mean, look, the offense is bad, but against Denver, 9 points. He's had a pretty favorable season so far.
Sure.
Right? Charges in week 2. I mean, I feel like the first 4 weeks you're finding yourself, and every offense is finding themselves, right? So he played Vegas, week 3, 27 points. Week 4 against Cincinnati, who was still losing. 22 points. They played Chicago, Atlanta, Washington, all scored over 12 points those weeks. So 2 games with under double-digit points. Now he has Kansas City, Tampa Bay, Philly, Dallas, Arizona, Tampa again. I don't know.
I mean, I
Bijan
think
has
your
been
starting
great.
lineup is better when you keep Chuba here. That's the problem. Like, I would much rather flex Tyreek Hill and start Chuba than flex and I love JSN, but to flex JSN
I guess
or Tank.
the question is, can you keep Tyreek Hill, send Chuba Hubbard, and then swap him out for a Jackson Smith, a Tank
No.
Dell, an Xavier Worthy, and still get Bijan?
No, you
Does
won't be
he
able
want to
to.
upgrade at quarterback? Who's his quarterback? He has Jalen Hurts. Do you want to send Javonte Williams? What's his running backs? He has Jerome Ford. I mean, he's downgrading at running back here. He's getting Chuba Hubbard.
Well, sure, you could try and send him Javonte and
Chuba.
JSN. That might keep it.
The thing is, I'm okay to do like a 3-for-1 here.
That is a 3-for-1.
Which one? Oh, okay. The Chuba, Williams, and Jackson for Bijan. Yeah. I would do that. I would 100% do that.
Your starting lineup would be Kyler, Bijan, Jacobs, Chase, Marvin, Kittle, and you'd flex Tyreek. That's a way better starting lineup.
So the only thing now is that you don't have a just in case person.
Nope.
If you don't have a just in case person, if Josh Jacobs goes down or Bijan Robinson goes down, so then I don't know if Tyler Algier is available in your waiver wire.
Well,
or
your just in case could be Hunter Henry as a flex.
I guess as an RB2, they don't have a just in case if they do this trade.
No, they don't. No.
That's the only problem. Which is at some points risky, but at some points it's not.
Yeah, just depends on if they get injured or not.
Yeah.
8-3 though. 8-3. I think I'm willing to.
I'm willing to do this.
To do a 3-for-1. I mean, you could even ask back for like something completely like just get Braylon Allen back in case something happens. Or
Braylon Allen. I was gonna say maybe you can get Austin Eckler, but I feel like that's a lot then.
Yeah, if you can get Eckler, that would be the preference. I just don't think you would. But anyway, those are some options. Glide.
Yeah. You're sending away Chase Brown and receiving Jaden Daniels as a 1 quarterback, 8-team start 7. Who's your current quarterback?
Mahomes
Dak Prescott. Who's okay? Then your running back is Josh Jacobs, Bijan Robinson, Tyrone Tracy. Why not? Why not get the rushing upside and a top 10 quarterback right now? Let me just triple check what he is. I'm pretty sure he's top 10. He's QB6 right now. I mean, if you think about it, you're probably never starting Chase Brown. You're not going to start Chase Brown over Josh Jacobs, over Bijan Robinson. Sure, maybe over Tyrone.
You're probably not, but Chase Brown is more valuable than a quarterback right now. And I love Jaden Daniels, but could you make this? I feel like Tyrone feels like a more even deal, in my opinion. You're still getting a starting running back. You know, that feels like a fair, more valuable, or more like meet you in the middle type deal. You can even send him Hunter Henry if he needs a tight end, which he doesn't.
It's George Kittle, Mark Andrews, yeah.
I would rather go that route and explore it, but I would settle for this because it is an 8-team start 7. But
yeah, I
would settle for Chase. I would try Tyrone and something else first, like something small, like Tyrone and Downs or something like that.
Yeah, I'm okay with this. You have incredible tight ends. I mean, it's an 8-team to be fair, but
that is the nature of an 8-team league.
It is.
All right, let's go ahead and review Billy's team, yeah? So
Billy on the street.
If you guys don't know, we did release the playbook, the team playbook yesterday on our Dynasty channel. This is the first stream on our redraft channel, which we are watching here together now, where we have talked about it, where we have announced it. So if you want your team playbook, it's very simple, okay? There's 2 ways you can get a team playbook. The first way is by going to the link that I sent in the chat there for you, and then clicking the team review section here. Make sure you link a team first, and if you haven't signed up for a free account with Flock Fantasy yet, use our promo code LAND, L-A-N-D, when you sign up for a free account. But once you link up your team, you click next. It'll automatically look at your settings. Choose your team from the list, hit continue, and then you'll find Zach and Badaki here. From now until Black Friday, no matter what you pay, as long as you get a team review, it can be the lowest amount, then you will get a live playbook, okay? But after Black Friday, that will change a little bit. It will be an offline one as standard. But again, if you want a team playbook, you want to see what sort of moves you should make before the playoffs, what sort of trades that might make sense, your untouchables, guys that you could drop to look at the waiver wire for other options. If you want your playbook, then again, check out the pinned comment or the comment I just put in the chat with that direct link. But we are going to review Billy's team here. And basically what happens is we review your team live, and then in 48 hours or less, you get sent that playbook in the message section of the Flock Fantasy website. So big shout out to Billy. This is a Dynasty team. You can get a Dynasty or a redraft team reviewed. But Billy says, you guys are crushing it with a playbook. Fun little team I want your advice on. So his team name is No Country for Old Men. He is currently ranked 4th out of 12 teams. This is a Dynasty 2-quarterback 12-team start 9. So let me get those settings out actually. So we said Superflex start 9, right? So Superflex start 9 would be your meat and potatoes type of lineup. This is your all-American, your classic, gritty type of lineup, meat and potatoes type of lineup where it's kind of right in the middle there. 2 wide receivers, 2 flex spots, and yeah. So again, ranked 4th out of 12. Is there any tight end premium? No tight end premium. It is PPR. And why don't we have a look at his team here and give him a grade to start off?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just making a copy.
That's okay. Jordan Love is his quarterback, and Baker Mayfield in a Dynasty. I like that combo right there of the Love-Baker. Sam Darnold is your quarterback 3, which is fine for this year. We don't know what Sam Darnold's future holds. Let's be honest. We don't know exactly what his future holds in the NFL. Maybe he signs with your Giants, or maybe he finds another way. Maybe this is the Baker Mayfield route for him where he finds a team that is a good fit for himself. But overall, I like the quarterback room. Pretty strong. Then you've got Jonathan Taylor. After that, it drops off massively in Dynasty with J.K. Dobbins, Najee Harris. 2 names that you can start, but 2 names that have very questionable futures in Dynasty football. J.K. Dobbins will be a free agent next year. Do they want to sign him, or will the Chargers go out in the draft and draft someone to replace him? Najee Harris, they did not accept his 5th-year deal. Where will he be next year? He'll have a role, but will he be a starter? Will he still be valuable in fantasy? We don't know. So you are really top-heavy at running back. At wide receiver, you've got CeeDee Lamb, Nico Collins, one of the best 1-2 punches in Dynasty football. I love that. You've also got Darnell Mooney, who's been very reliable so far this year. What a steal you would have gotten him for. You've also got McMillan, Franklin, Shakir, which is a great name there. Dobbs, Sutton. So you actually have some really good, reliable starting names this year. And then Kyle Pitts, Cade Otton. Cade Otton is definitely going to be your better starter over Kyle Pitts right now. You've got really good draft capital as well. I mean, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 first-round picks in 2025. That is incredible. So you've got a lot of draft capital to build around. I mean, this is probably an A-flat range draft capital, Badaki. Okay. A-flat range is what I would say. Right now, your ideal starting lineup is going to be Jordan Love, Baker Mayfield, Jonathan Taylor, J.K. Dobbins, CeeDee Lamb, Nico Collins. You would probably start Cade Otton at this point, and then with your 2 flex spots, I believe you would be choosing between Cortland Sutton and Mooney and Shakir and, the Gus and, and the Najees of the world. So this is a pretty impressive team. And you have 4 first-round picks to improve it again in 2025. Now that I see the weakness of your running back room, but the strength of your draft capital, I am really excited about this team. This team is really fun, in my opinion, because we have all of the necessary pieces in this next draft to fill that running back hole, because this is one of the better running back classes we've seen in a while in 2025. So many great names like your Ashton Genties, your Omarion Hamptons, your Judkins, your Hendersons, Caleb Johnsons of the world. So overall, I'm really liking this team, man. I think this is B+. I think this is B+ range for me. What would you say?
Yeah, B+. Obviously, if you had the running backs, even if you had like a low end, like maybe like a Chuba Hubbard or a Rashad White or Bucky Irving, this could definitely push it to an A with the draft capital because of all that other stuff. But this is a great team. I personally think you're on the right track.
All right, so great to hear. Again, B plus type of team. You're not far from an A. Honestly, with your draft capital, you might be A minus, but let's stick at a B plus right now. All right, let's come up with a main pathway forward for Billy here. There's a lot of tags that we have that we've been using for pathways, like the Thanos contender, windows open, sleeper, in or out, 1 year punt, full rebuild. You're not a 1 year punt because you can win this year. You're not in or out because you don't need to sell people because of the draft capital you have. I think you're a contender. I really do. I think you're in the contender phase. I wouldn't say windows open because if we name this a windows open team, that would say it's an older team and you have to win right now. That's not the case. This is a young team, so this is a contender. Now. I think.
Yeah, he's contending now. If I'm reading this correctly, you're probably third, fourth. Either fourth or fifth overall ranking in your league, being 7-4. I see obviously a guy here being 8-3. You have another one that is 8-3, so that's 1-2, and then you have 7-4, 7-4, and 7-4.
Definitely in the playoffs right now.
You're definitely in the playoff range here. This is most likely a 16 playoff run, so you are definitely a contender right now going into this league or going into this year and going into next year. I mean, honestly, if you draft and get a Genti and get all this other stuff, you can go to the next level to be into like that Thanos type of category.
I feel like this is a contender with a variation of house money. As in, I don't think we need to make many moves because of the capital that we have. We almost roll into the playoffs with what we got and kind of go with that. So again, I don't know if we can add that somewhere in notes. Like the pathway, I think you're a contender, but with house money. Like, I don't think you need to really blow this up in the sense of like go trade a bunch of draft capital for certain names. So yeah, I think it's definitely a good team, but I don't think you really need to make any drastic moves. Here's what I'll say. Your untouchables are going to be CeeDee Lamb, Nico Collins.
Yeah, I'm there with you.
I think that's it. Do you have another name you'd like to put in there? Honestly, I'd say the draft picks as well. What's the most valuable pick he has? Let's see. He has Shark Ranch. He has Don't Hassle the Hoff and Bromoth or something. So Bromoth is 4 and 7. Hassle the Hoff is 5 and 6. And who was the other one that he had?
Bromoth is 5th.
Don't Hassle the Hoff. Shark Ranch. Where's Shark Ranch?
Don't Hassle the Hoff is the one that's 11th right now, ranking.
Shark Ranch is 5 and 6. Okay, so let's say Brohimoff's first round pick is an untouchable, and we will also throw in Don't Hassle the Hoff's first round pick at 5 and 6. Those are your true untouchables at this point in this league. As far as names that I'd like to hold, I would say Cade Otton is a hold for sure. You can probably build around him in the future if he continues to be this good. I'd probably put JK as a hold, no?
I wouldn't do that. I was gonna say a Jordan Love can go in holds as well. Like,
yeah,
this is a 2-quarterback league.
Yeah.
So I think you want to hold. I mean, maybe even Baker Mayfield as well. I mean, look, we can definitely trade him away, but
I'm fine with that.
To upgrade potentially.
Looking at drops, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the first person that comes to mind here, two names comes to mind is like Evan Hall.
Agreed.
And Jake Wiley.
Jared Wiley, I would hold him.
Jared Wiley. Okay.
I would rather drop a Johnny Wilson or a Tez Walker.
Yeah, sure.
Because Jared Wiley's shown some interesting traits with the Chiefs. But yeah, let's go Evan Hull and Walker and Wilson, whoever you want to choose between them. Those are both pretty easy drops if you have anybody on the waiver wire or if you're trying to clear space for the upcoming rookie draft. But as far as trade ideas, like, I'll be honest, I don't think you need to go crazy here. I feel like your best path forward is potentially holding. The only thing I would say is if I could trade away Dobbins or Najee, I think that's really the area I would be interested in kind of playing around with. How about you?
Yeah,
Or
like I
even Kyle
definitely would love.
Pitts.
I would definitely love to sell those guys high. If you could, I feel like J.K. Dobbins could be an interesting sell high or pivot off of type of player. Kyle Pitts, you probably can't sell right now. But if he does have another boom game, like he had like a 24, 20 plus game a couple weeks ago against the Bucks. If he has a game like that, what can you do and send away for him? But I'm happy to keep him, or I'm happy to sell him, Kyle Pitts, J.K. Dobbins, and in the wide receiver room, maybe a Cortland Sutton. See if you can pivot off him. Can you get off that guy, because I feel like he's definitely going to be moved around in the near future, because they've been
I
trying
could
to
see
sell
them
him
resigning
for a
him, to
while.
be honest.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I feel like all last 3 seasons, even or since not 3 seasons, 2 seasons since Sean Payton's been there, Cortland Sutton's been like on the top of the list to try to get off the team. Just no one wants to pay for the value, but maybe they do resign him. Yes,
Yeah.
those are the names I would go with.
Let's all right, I'll whip up some trade ideas for us. Let's start with the running backs, Dobbins and Harris. What I'd like to find is a team that is competing and sell one of these names ideally. So let's find a competing team that needs help at running back. I will sort your league by running back strength. For example, Sidith, who is 7-4. They have Aaron Jones and really nobody else we're talking about. I almost wonder, would you try and get JJ McCarthy here? Thinking about the future, would you try and send Najee or
I don't think
Aaron
he would do
plus
that.
Sam Darnold for JJ McCarthy?
Najee or
I'd even
Dobbins
send a
plus Sam
second.
Darnold for J.J. McCarthy. I mean, look, I would be surprised if they would do that, just because. Yeah, I would be surprised if they do that, but I'm happy to put it on here. If you can get that done, sure, absolutely. But that looks like his quarterback of the future, right? Aaron Rodgers looks like is dead in the water. Russell Wilson has been playing well, but that's his long-term answer there at QB2. So I would find that hard to do if I was him. But once again, if you can get that done, absolutely. Let's try and do that.
Yeah, just trying to get his foot in the door with different options here. I think that could make a lot of sense. The other team that makes a lot of sense is Steve's Dogs, who is 7-4.
They use dogs.
I'd love to try and get a first-round pick out of him. So could I send him Najee and something to get a first-round pick? Najee plus something to get that guy's first-round pick. Najee plus...
What's his Najee plus Kyle Pitts? I doubt you can do Kyle Pitts in the first. Najee and Kyle Pitts for a first. He has Njoku, Theo Johnson, Tommy Tremble. I mean, if he wants to get younger,
I'd say like Najee and like a Dobbs, or Najee and a yeah, I guess Kyle Pitts could work. Najee plus Pitts for that first.
See if that happens. Or like Pitts plus a second for a first. I'm happy to do something like that as well.
Sure. And what's this guy's name that we're trying to trade with?
His name is Steven's Dogs.
Guys, I see people talking about Devon Vele in the chat. It's definitely going to be an error. Just go to Discord and tell our developers about it, because there's nobody who has him ranked that high. So I appreciate you guys. Just go to our Discord site issues tab and tell our devs about that. All right, is there another team that could make sense to do a deal? This guy's 5-6. He might be interested. Could you... Ideally, I'd like to pivot. I almost would love to pivot to a Chuba. Like, could you send Najee plus a third for Chuba, or do a pick swap? Najee plus a second and get your way into Chuba plus a third? Like, I feel better about that long term as well.
Yeah, I like that as well.
I'd even do that with I'd do a cheaper version of that with Rachaad White by sending a third in Najee for Rachaad White.
How do you feel about Travis Etienne long term?
I have no idea.
Do you think he's done? Because I feel like the way I'm seeing it, I feel like he could be a good buy low option right now because I don't think Doug Peterson's going to be here. And I think they're just going to rely on trying to get Travis back.
I think if you can send Najee in a second for Etienne in a first, you do it in a heartbeat.
I think Najee is definitely one to buy low person for me, at least right now, because I don't believe in the running back by committee and Doug Peterson being there long term. So
I'd even send Najee in a third for Tyrone.
You gotta call out.
And by the way, replace Najee with Dobbins in any of these deals. You know what I mean?
We know you're a Steelers fan here, Billy. So it's just unlucky, really.
Yeah, but you know, we gotta play.
Billy will make. Yeah.
Just Billy's a sharp player. Let's see. Anything else here? I mean, 6 and 5. All these other guys have running back strength, so I don't think running back is an option with the rest of these names. Let's do a. You said Sutton. You wanted to look at moving Sutton.
Yeah, we can.
All right, so you would need to do the same thing. Find a team that's contending that needs wide receivers. For example, the Urban Achiever could definitely use wide receiver help. Could you turn Courtland Sutton into a first? Sutton plus a third for a first as an idea, or you might settle for a second if it's a late second. The team that's 8 and 3 could potentially use a Sutton. Could you find your way into Trey McBride here? For example, Sutton and Pitts for McBride and Marshawn Lloyd as an example.
Yeah.
Right?
I like that. Who was
I don't
that?
think anyone else is going to need wide receiver help.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I think that's a lot. I mean,
yeah.
Of course, it's a start 9.
Only other thing is if we could sell Kyle Pitts, and I feel like Kyle Pitts could go to a contender or someone who is rebuilding.
Someone just likes Kyle Pitts, yeah.
Yeah, if you could turn Kyle Pitts, would you turn Kyle Pitts into Bucky Irving in a second or something? I think that could make sense.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? I'm thinking of because Billy is in this weird spot. Is it crazy to say Brandon Ayuk for Kyle Pitts?
No, I love that. It's a great idea.
Because that's the first thing that came to mind. I was like, all right, look, he's injured. He's not going to play. I know Jalen Waddle is having a down year right now. Can you get a Jalen Waddle for a Kyle Pitts?
Yeah, I like that idea too.
That's kind of where I would go with him and see if I can get one of those guys.
No, that's a pretty good idea. This guy called Hassel the Hoff. I mean, could you send him Kyle Pitts? Get Joe Mixon straight up, and that could give you a chance to really go out and win this year. You know? If they are out of the playoffs, that's something that they might consider. But yeah, I think that's a lot of ideas there, Billy. This whiteboard is going to be obviously included in your Dynasty playbook. So you'll see that on the right-hand side there with all those ideas. We'll highlight 4 of our favorite trades now. To end this review, your camera's off, by the way.
Oh, is it?
But
okay.
I will select 2 that I like the most, and then you select 2 that you like the most. I really loved your Ayuk idea. I thought that was kind of brilliant.
I would go there, Kyle Pitts, Brandon Ayuk. I would also like the idea of doing the Najee Harris one. Ellen's calling me, so you pick your 2. Najee Harris for Travis Etienne.
Okay, yeah, I like that one too. I like the idea of turning Pitts and a second into a first and adding more capital. And I know Badaki said it's probably not possible, but if you can get JJ McCarthy, I think that's a huge dub long term as well. But yeah, appreciate you big time, my man. It's going to be fun in March and April to talk about how to spend your draft picks. That will be very fun. But this chalkboard will be added to your playbook. And again, you'll get this playbook in the DMs on the Flock Fantasy website in about 48 hours or less. And again, if anybody out there wants their playbook, very easy. I'll put a link in the chat for you right now. All you have to do is buy a membership. Or sorry, all you have to do is buy a team review through the website. And you'll get your playbook.
Yeah, the only thing we have to do for Billy is positional priorities. That's all. The last thing we have to do. And this is a 2-quarterback, 12-team start 9. Yeah, meat and
I'm going to say quarterbacks are still the most valuable, then wide receiver, then running back, then tight end.
Okay.
Yeah?
All right. Sounds good.
Awesome. Appreciate you, Billy. Again, be looking out in the DMs on the Flock site in the messages tab where you submitted this for the playbook in about 48 hours. All right, we got a couple questions on the site. I see some super chats as well on YouTube. So let's get to these questions on the site and then we'll go to YouTube. Wes has a start sit. It's an 8-team start 8. They're starting Bo Nix. Josh Allen is on bye. Brian Robinson, Devon Achane. I do love B-Rob this week. Ridley, because you've got Wilson on bye. Tillman, Tyreek, Trey McBride. And then at the flex spot, you can choose between Kareem and Pacheco, I guess. Tyrone. Garrett's on bye. Jacoby and Njoku. For me, this would be Tyrone Tracy.
Yeah. You gotta call on Tyrone. Oh boy. Appreciate you, Wes.
Yeah, go ahead, Stinky Nerd here.
Stinky Nerd, appreciate you. He says, I'm nervous about this trade because of bye week. So you're sending away Josh Jacobs and Justin Jefferson and receiving CMC and Drake London here. Your current running backs are Joe Mixon and Derrick Henry. This is 8-team start 7. So your current lineup looks like Jaden Daniels, Joe Mixon, Derrick Henry. You have Jamar Chase with Mike Evans, Trey McBride, and at the flex, you are choosing between a Deebo Samuel, Tyrone Tracy. It's actually Justin Jefferson. It's Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. You have Mike Evans in the flex. I'm not doing this trade.
I think it's.
I would say if you are nervous and you are a team that needs to make the playoffs, and you are 5-6 or 6-6 or whatever the case may be, sure, because you're not going to have Joe Mixon, you're not going to have Derrick Henry, so that means you're going to be starting Tony Pollard and Tyrone Tracy, but you still have Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. I think that's more than enough, in my opinion. Don't you think?
Yeah, I just think it's a wash, to be honest. But if you're making the playoffs, I prefer the McCaffrey side of this. Okay. Just because I don't love Jefferson's schedule in the playoffs. He can overcome that. He will. There's no reason to be concerned about it. But I would rather have McCaffrey as a flex, overall. And I think London and Jacobs are a wash. So if you're definitely making the playoffs and this is just about having the strongest starting lineup, I think that's McCaffrey, but it truly is a wash. I truly think both sides are even.
I don't necessarily think you have to make the trade, but yeah, I think you're fine. If you are above 5, like if you're 8-3, 9, or whatever the case may be, sure, like don't make the trade, or you can make the trade. It's not going to hurt you regardless if you're already locked into the playoffs. But if you need to win, then yeah, I can understand why you might be concerned with Joe Mixon and Derrick Henry on that bye week in week 14.
Yeah, I can understand that too. It's really a wash. Whatever you think is best. If you need the win, then I get it. If you don't need the win and you're just waiting until the playoffs and you're already locked and loaded, I'm not sure I love it. All right, I do love it. Sorry, is what I meant to say. All right, let's go to YouTube. We've got some super chats here, starting with Santo.
Yeah,
I'll be right back.
You. No worries. Burrow, Bijan, Kyron, Cup, Debo, Kraft at the flex, Tyrone, Downs, DJ Moore, Waddle. Got out for Tyreek for Cup and DJ Moore. And AJ Brown and Gibbs for Kyron, Tyrone Tracy? Would you do both things, guys? No worries. First of all, let's start here. You got all for Tyreek, and you're receiving, or you got all for Tyreek, and you are sending away Cooper Kupp and DJ Moore. I personally would rather have Cooper Kupp and DJ Moore still. I think Tyreek has been too up and down. I still believe Cooper Kupp is going to be, you know, just as dominant. I think there's just more consistency with Cooper Kupp. Yeah, sure. We had Tyreek Hill have a great big game last week. I mean, Cooper Kupp just dropped 28 points and 2 touchdowns. And Tyreek Hill, he did have a good game, but that was his first good game since week 1. If you really think about it, there has not been a week since last week that Tyreek Hill made you feel good that you drafted him since week 1. Where sure, Cooper Kupp missed those 4 games. He's only had 1 game under double-digit points, and that was the game that he got injured in week 2. Then he missed 4 weeks. I would personally be keeping Cooper Kupp here, the Cooper Kupp side. And you said and AJ Brown and Gibbs for Kyron, Debo, and Tyrone. So you are sending away Kyron, Debo, Tyrone, and you are receiving AJ Brown and Gibbs. I would be okay with AJ Brown and Gibbs, because then you
I want the AJ Brown and Gibbs side easily there. I'd say
I would be okay with AJ Brown and Gibbs. So, I think that's good. Akshay is next.
Appreciate you, Santo.
Thoughts on CD and Brees rest of season look to sell. Look,
I love Brees rest of season. I think he has an incredible schedule. CD Lamb is someone I would be open to selling.
100%. I think it's going to be. I think CD has a favorable rest of season outside of arguably Philly in week 17. He has Washington next week, New York,
Washington's
Cincinnati.
not going to be easy with Marshall Lattimore. It's already tough without him.
With Carolina, Tampa Bay, and then you have Philly in week 17. Yeah. So I think overall, I'm still comfortable keeping CD. And I said it was going to be better, and I felt like that's what we saw, 18 points last week. I think that's okay. He's not going to be the superstar 22-plus point game guy that we were hoping for all season.
I view this as an opportunity to sell him, and I want everyone to think about this for a second. There is a realistic scenario. Trey Lance starts for this team in a couple weeks, and they let him start the rest of the year.
No, wait. Superstar Trey Lance, top 5 pick in the NFL draft?
Yes, that Trey Lance.
Throwing the ball to CeeDee Lamb.
Exactly. So if that tickles your pickle, then get tickled. But I'd like to sell CeeDee Lamb before that potentially happens. So names that I think make sense in a deal, like, would you rather have CeeDee Lamb or Tyreek Hill rest of season? I'd rather have Tyreek. I'd rather have DK Metcalf, T. Higgins, London, Evans, Puka, Kupp.
Sure. All those names I would. I think Tyreek Hill is the only one I'll be hesitant on. I think Tyreek Hill just feels more comfortable with Tua, which I completely understand. But all those other names, I'll do it in a heartbeat. Let's do it right now.
Yeah. As far as Brees, I want to buy him. I said this at the beginning of the stream. I'll say it again. If you're a team who's 8-3 or 7-4, and you're going to make the playoffs or whatever, and you can make moves, then go buy Brees Hall from the team who needs to win this week, and Brees Hall's on a bye week. That's exactly what I would do, because his playoff schedule is incredible. And that's the way I would do it.
Brock Gibbs, last super chat here. We appreciate you. It says Tyreek or Evans rest of the season. Worried about Hill will be shut down. For me, this is Mike Evans.
I agree.
In the same light of CeeDee Lamb, it's the same light I see Tyreek Hill as. Like, I want to sell him high. He has over 19 fantasy points, and I was just saying this. I don't know if you were here or if you heard, but like, the last time Tyreek Hill made you feel good about drafting him was in week 1. every other game has been extremely disappointing. And
Last
sure, that
week
was
was
without
pretty good,
Tua.
though.
No, that's what I'm saying. Outside since last week, if you were to look at all the rest of the games, outside of week 11, the only game you feel who are so excited about was week 1. But once again, that's fair because he didn't have Tua. So it's tough. It's tough right now for me.
Yeah, I think it's hard not to take that context, and really apply it, though, because if Tua never goes down, what sort of Tyreek Hill are we talking about, But
yeah,
what were we even talking about? I can't remember. Tyreek or Evans,
Tyreek
right?
or Evans rest of the season.
Yeah, I'll go
Take
Evans.
Mike
I mean,
Evans.
but the whole shut him down narrative. We know aging wide receivers hamstring injuries can reoccur, so I think that could go either way. But yeah, I would take Evans overall in a vacuum. Appreciate you, Brock. We have a super chat here from Danny, one of the last ones on today's stream, I think. He says, should I drop Hunt for Tua? Best quarterback in waiver wire for week 14 for Lamar's bye week. By the way, I benched Mooney week 11. Love it. Well, that worked out because
Nice.
he got injured.
He got injured. Yeah.
Would you drop
got
Kareem
injured.
Hunt for Tua?
Um,
It sounds like a smaller league if they're dropping Kareem Hunt. So I imagine this is a 10-team league, maybe. I mean, he can clarify for us, but I don't hate the idea. If you have to get a quarterback and he's the least valuable player on your team,
I would say this.
I would like to hold him through this week, but
Exactly. I would like to hold him through this week, see what happens. You have essentially 2 weeks to understand what that's going to look like. So sure, if Kareem Hunt or if Isaiah Pacheco comes out this week and says, or takes over that backfield and Hunt is non-existent, you'd be like, okay, you can potentially be making those moves. Or he has the exact same workload and Isaiah Pacheco has 2 carries and you're saying, oh shit, how can I drop Kareem Hunt? I would just wait. Just wait, and surely there might be somebody else on your team that you can drop outside of Kareem Hunt. I would be if you're playing with kicker and defense, I would drop my kicker and defense first and then figure it out later. Genuinely, depending on the kicker and defense that you have.
Yeah,
of course.
No, I get you. All right, those are all of the super chats. Those are all of the questions on the website. So what we will do, I mean, if he says he's in a 12 team, if you're in a 12 team, Kareem Hunt has to have some trade value, even if it's a 2-for-1 and he's a throw-in. But what we'll do here, again, no questions to the website, no super chats. We're going to answer 5 questions at random to end today's stream. Again, 5 questions at random to end today's stream.
5 questions and 5 questions only. And question number 1.
Question number 1 at random is that B on the hat for baby back ribs? Yes, sir.
Shout out to baby back ribs.
No, it's
or
for,
big booty, or it could stand for big booties.
It's actually for Brooklyn. And
or Badaki.
Well, no, it's for Brooklyn. And it's for the Brooklyn Dodgers. So, who moved to LA and beat your New York Yankees?
It was Brooklyn is essentially won. That's what it sounds like.
Sure. Yeah. That question's not going to count, by the way. All right, let's get our first one out of 5. For example, Bryce Long, again, answering questions at random. Bryce says, trade Jennings and Brian Thomas for CMC. Yes, I'll take CMC there. In a heartbeat. That's 1 out of 5. Kevin Thomas, who's a Thunder fan. Hey, big game coming up here soon. No, it's not really a big game.
No, it's not. I
Spurs.
mean,
Spurs.
no in-season game is a big game. Let's be completely honest.
Well, it's the NBA Cup. Those are always exciting games. But would you downgrade Lamar to hurt straight up? Unfortunately, the league where the playoffs start in week 14. First off, I'm sure you guys know how annoying. I can't imagine why people have week 14 playoffs. The levels of stupidity are so high for those leagues. I'm sorry.
Next minute, Kevin's the commissioner. The levels of stupidity.
Oh God, I hope not. I really hope not. But it's just bro, how are you this stupid that your playoffs start week 14? How could you say that when the playoffs are happening and it's win or go home, people aren't going to have any Ravens like Derrick Henry. They're going to have no Lamar Jackson. They'll have no Zay Flowers. They'll have no Sutton. They'll have no Nico Collins. They'll have no Joe Mixon, Jonathan Taylor. They'll have no Jaden Daniels or Terry McLaurin. Like, you have 6 teams on bye. There's not a single week in the NFL where there are more teams on bye than week 14 and 12. And you're going to start the playoffs on week 14? Bro, like, the levels of stupidity in those leagues. If you're in a league that has week 14 playoffs, go ahead and send this time code to your commissioner. What are you doing? This is the dumbest thing you could possibly do in a fantasy league. Figure your shit out, okay? Too harsh? Grow up.
Who the hell is this guy? Who the hell is this guy?
All right, we got a super chat from Romeo here. But anyway, we didn't even answer the question. Yeah, look, if you have to fucking play in week 14 and you don't have Lamar, you're not going to advance without like a quarterback. This is why this is so fucking stupid, because everybody would prefer Lamar Jackson, but you're going to have to trade for Jalen Hurts because of this stupid ass league. Anyway, yeah, you have to take Hurts. No, like, what are you going to do? You're going to stream, you're going to stream fucking, I don't know, like Russell Wilson and all with your life on the line? Oh, that's so dumb.
Shout out to Russell Wilson. Appreciate you though, Romeo. Thank you so much for the super chat. 10 team half PPR. I'm 7-4. My team is Lamar. CMC. Okay, what's the question here? You got offered Barkley for Hill and Cook. Should I accept? So you have CMC and Kyron with James Cook and Tyrone Tracy. You have Tyreek, Puka, DJ Mordell, Downs, and so you got offered Barkley for Tyreek Hill and James Cook. So your starting wide receivers would be Puka, DJ, Mordell, Downs. I don't think you have the facilities for that big man. You don't have the wide receiver for that.
You don't, but I like the deal overall. I'd accept it, and I'd try to make another trade. I would try and package Tracy and DJ, Tracy and Downs, Tracy and Dell to upgrade at wide receiver, and I would take the CMC, the Barkley package.
Yeah. Barkley already has his bye week. He's been going crazy. I'm okay with it. It's just if you can't get... before you do this trade, Romeo, I would also say maybe try and put in place another trade before you accept it, because I think that can just really hurt your team. Sure, you can start CMC, Kyron, and Saquon in the flex, but then you're starting Puka and then DJ Moore, who right now you're not necessarily excited to start, and that can really hurt your team. But appreciate you.
Yes. All right. Question 3 out of 5 at random to end today's stream is
3 out of 5. Here we go.
Let's go Ramen Guy. I don't think we ever heard from him. What do y'all think about trading Ken Walker and Smith for James Cook and AJ Brown? I will take the AJ Brown and James Cook side of that pretty easily, actually.
Give me Jimmy. Come on, Jimmy.
Just don't think you can trust Devonta Smith on a week-to-week basis with a healthy AJ Brown.
Oh, Jimmy.
That's 4 out of 5. The last question at random today. The last one for today. Oh, by the way, Billy said, side note, I'm the #1 scoring team so far. I'm 3rd overall. Yeah, you're playing with house money. You really are. I mean, you're the definition of a house money team.
Yeah, you're chilling. You're chilling, Billy.
So don't force any of those trades, Billy. But we'll give you all those ideas
next year, Billy. I expect you to be there. No pressure.
No, you can do whatever you want, Billy. Let's see. All right, at random, last question. Let's do Cooper. Cooper says, start Kate or Goddard. Just traded Darnell. How do you think he's going to be performing? It's definitely Kate Otten for me here pretty easily. And then traded for Darnell, I guess, like Mooney. I think if Mooney's healthy, he'll be fine. I mean, he's got the bye week. It's supposedly not a long-term injury. So I think he'll be okay. But, yeah, it all comes down to his health. But if he's healthy, I think he'll be like a consistent top 24 option.
Yeah, I think so as well. Phenomenal rest of season schedule. I mean, when he comes back, he plays the Chargers, but then he has Minnesota, Vegas, New York, and then Washington. So I think there's going to be favorable matchups there for Darnell Mooney. And honestly, the injury came probably at a good time, hopefully, to be completely honest with you.
The best time it could have, if you weren't going to have him anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So it is let him rest. He's probably going to be limited coming back into next week, and that's okay because you don't want to re-aggravate that injury. So
we did get a super chat from Michael Paz, but there's no question attached to it. So I guess we'll wait a little bit and give him a couple, 60 seconds here to submit a question. There's no question attached to it, so let's wait for him here. Kevin says Cavs came back. Yeah, they're a special team right now. But
I specialize the Knicks. Come on.
They're definitely better than the Knicks right now. The fit with Karl Anthony Towns is so strange. I'm sure they'll figure it out.
I'll be completely honest. I haven't even watched the game. So
I know you haven't. I know.
I have no idea. I don't even know their record.
Yeah, it's just been a bit interesting with
the Cavs have. Why are they so good?
The Cavs are 15-0. They just got a really solid squad. I mean, Donovan Mitchell's their superstar, but they've got Evan Mobley, who's one of the better defenders, and his offensive game is really turning up as a center. They've got Darius Garland, and they just got a really well-balanced team. Jarrett Allen, who's another really good rim protector. They're nice. They're definitely nice. All right, last question is from Michael with the super chat. He says, sorry, Joe Mixon for James Cook and Amon-Ra. Half PPR. Got to have more context here. Is this an 8-team league, a 10-team league, a 12-team league? Is your starting lineup start 7, start 8, start 10, start 11? I think that is really needed context. Who's your current wide receiver room without Amon-Ra? What's your current running back room if you lose Joe? I think in a vacuum, there's more value on the Amon-Ra Cook side. But if it doesn't improve your starting lineup and we're heading into the playoffs, I don't know that it would be beneficial. So it all depends on that.
Yeah, I think without context, I want James Cook and Amon-Ra side, but Zach is right. There's so much that we need to know to answer this question properly. And it's just, we want to give you the best answer possible. And we don't want to say James Cook and Joe Mixon, or James Cook and Amon-Ra, and you are in a, you're in a start 7, and you're like, oh, okay, well then, what's going on here? Anyways, hopefully that helps.
All right, we appreciate all of you guys. Hey, again, if you want to ask a question and be prioritized in another stream, an upcoming stream, we'll be live tomorrow. So you can get your questions in now, and we'll be live tomorrow. But that is it for today. Start sits already up on the page. The players that are going to go nuclear will be released tomorrow, a day early than normal. I just want to see how it goes this week. And then the bus video will be released before Thursday Night Football. Appreciate you guys for coming out and hanging out. We'll see you guys soon. All love.
Love.